Hi, everyone. Today will be a little bit different. I'm so excited. This is the first Patrick McGrath reaction videos to things, and we're going to take a look at scenes of OCD, maybe, from movies and TV shows, and we'll watch them, we'll talk about them, and I'll give them a ranking and see how realistic they really are. This one says it's Nicolas Cage portraying something about OCD. So, to our team in the background, let's roll the first clip.
Mr. Swanson, don't forget to drink plenty of water with that.
Thanks. Excuse me. Hi.
I'll be right with you, sir.
Hi. Hi, I need a refill of this. I don't have a prescription.
Sir, please wait your turn.
I know, but this is an emergency.
Hey, buddy, ever heard of a line?
Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beat until you pissed blood? Listen, I'm sorry. I really need it. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I need a refill of this.
Do you have a prescription?
Well, no, but see, my doctor, my shrink, he gave me these.
Okay. So my first reaction to this, I'm not seeing really OCD. I'm seeing potentially a motor and verbal tics going on. So it could be somebody who is experiencing Tourette's. And if we were going to think about a treatment, might be considering habit reversal therapy at the moment, but not yet seeing something that screams obsessive compulsive disorder to me so far. Just because somebody is highly pressured and needs something done, of course, doesn't mean OCD. How many of us have felt rushed or needed something right away, and we've maybe wanted to cut in line or something like that? Doesn't mean obsessive compulsive disorder. Let's continue.
Thank you. Yeah, I need a refill of this.
Do you have a prescription?
Well, no, but see, my doctor, my shrink, he gave me these, and they're samples of. Darn it! I can't remember the name. It's Prefix something.
I'm sorry, sir. Without
Yes.
a prescription, there's nothing.
Okay, but you see, I have the packet.
Sir.
So I'm clearly allowed to have them. Now I just need 4 or 5 of them to cover me for the weekend.
Let me see it.
Thank you. And I am sorry, sir.
These are supplements.
What?
This packet contains supplements, sir.
No. My doctor gave those to me. They're Prefix.
They're supplements, sir.
Bullshit, man! Prefix!
Supplefen.
Prefix!
Aisle 4, sir.
Prefix!
Did you call security?
All right. I'm not seeing potential obsessions going on there. I'm not really noticing if we're experiencing necessarily compulsions going on. We have somebody who has maybe been duped by a provider and told that they've been giving medication when in fact they've been given some supplements. So I'll rate this a 1 in terms of evidence of OCD. I'm a little surprised seeing in the title Nicolas Cage OCD, because that would not be the first thought that I have of watching this clip, that obsessive compulsive disorder was involved. But I'm definitely more concerned on the tics and potential Tourette's aspect of things. Here's a clip from House. All right, we'll see what happens with House.
Excuse me, waitress. I'm afraid the teriyaki chicken's no longer on the menu.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what you had last time.
We've never been here before. I definitely remember you.
Oh, well, we never get up north. We're just up to see a friend of ours who moved here last summer.
Your hair was lighter. You had little round glasses.
Sounds like you.
Henry, don't play along. It's a gimmick for tips. Could we get some water? It was last August, Saturday the 14th. You were wearing a blue dress with polka dots. Your eyes were puffy, like you've been crying.
The 14th is Darren's birthday. He said he had to cancel his party because his old girlfriend showed up. They got into a huge fight.
Henry.
I knew it. Damn it. Ever since that ski trip when the two of you disappeared.
I'll go get your water.
Are you all right? Are you okay?
So watching that first piece, it's interesting. I don't see again an obsessive compulsive disorder experience in that clip. We do know that there are some people in the world who have a nearly perfect memory and can do a recall. If you're familiar with the show Taxi, Mary Lou Henner, who was on the show, is one of these people. You can just ask her anything about her life and she'll be able to tell you the date and the time and the conversation, what people were wearing, where it was. It's a near photographic memory. We think there's, as far as we know, maybe 50 to 100 people in the world who have this. That being said, it is not because they're obsessed about memories and therefore compulsively have to recall everything. It is actually just a very fascinating way that their brains work that seem to be different from the brains of most people. But I think there's a part 2 of this clip also, so why don't we jump to that and see.
Jigsaw puzzles.
I find them calming.
You ever left one unfinished?
No, that would drive me crazy.
Speaking of,
Why are you doing that?
more important question is, why are you?
It's just a habit.
It's a habit that compels you in an obsessive way. It's so bad, it's a disorder.
I don't have OCD.
Each brain with OCD has its own way of filtering it. Some people wash their hands and hoard TV guides. You do puzzles and hoard memories.
To what we thought was a gift. It's just you literally obsessing over your own life.
That's why I can't stop the memories even when I try. But everything else, my kidneys.
Memory was just a symptom of a larger disease. You have McLeod syndrome. It's a rare genetic disorder that affects the nervous system, blood, and can cause OCD.
It can't be cured, but your various symptoms can be managed with medication. Best case scenario, you can live another 20 years.
Well, they mentioned McLeod syndrome, so our crack team of investigators in the background have pulled up some information about it, and right there it says almost exclusively in boys and men, and it affects movement in many parts of the body, and they have abnormal star-shaped red blood cells. None of this screams to me that any of this would be a cause of obsessive-compulsive disorder. In my 26 years of treating OCD, I've never heard of McLeod syndrome as a cause of OCD, nor have I even heard of McLeod syndrome, number one. And the reading of this actually shows that it has some impairments on memory and cognitive functioning, not that it would increase it or increase people's ability to remember things. So I think we can debunk this one and show that this is a 1 in representation of OCD in terms of McLeod syndrome. Now, let's go to the cup and the moving things. That could be obsessive compulsive disorder. Some people like to have things in certain ways, but they didn't really do any investigation. Some people just like certain things that have quirks as well. So we would want to do a more thorough evaluation of the patient to see exactly what is going on. So if we just focus on the cup piece, we might have some OCD, but we don't know what the obsession is because they just said that that's the way they like things. And we would need to see exactly what that would be. And also what would be the fear if they didn't do the compulsion, and that would something bad happen, or would it be an omen for something? So I think we have to leave that one open still because we just don't have enough information, but I believe we can debunk the McLeod syndrome part. The other piece that I didn't really care for too much was they only mentioned one treatment, which was medication. But of course, we know there's exposure and response prevention therapy. So if it was OCD, we would want to be sure that we include the behavioral treatments for things, not just something on the medication side, right? That is so important to do because meds aren't going to change behavior. They might make it easier for people to do behavioral change, but being instructed in the behavioral change is really key. If I were to rank the cup part of the OCD, I would maybe give it a 3 at this point. There's much more investigation. And if I would rank their recommendations for treatment, I would also go a 3 at this point, because at least they're recommending something, but they're not really talking about the full gold standard experience. Next, we have a clip from Scrubs. Always a fun show. Let's see what they do.
What Carla really smelled was all the excitement in the air. See, there's a visiting professor coming today who's both a medical attending and a surgeon. 2 specialties. And to us, that kind of makes him... Super Doc. Super Doc. Fine. A super doc with obsessive compulsive disorder.
Okay. How hard can it be for me to step in your left foot first and simultaneously exhale as my right foot plants?
Now, just watching the beginning, this person has come into the room 3 times. This is a pretty common experience of OCD, where you feel like you must do something and it must be just right. If it's not just right, it will be just wrong, and there could be a fear that something bad could happen because of that. Now, they automatically label it as OCD. I think that I'd give this one maybe a 5 in terms of jumping to conclusions on OCD, but it wouldn't be surprising to find that it is OCD based on the fact that this person keeps doing this over and over again. Let's see more of the clip.
Dr. Kevin Casey. Dr. Kevin Casey. You know, at my hospital, they don't make you sign forms if you want to cut open sick people. You just have to bring your own knifey thingy.
Scalpel.
That's the word, Dr. Kevin Casey.
Why do you keep saying your name?
Oh, it just keeps me from losing my jinkies later. Thinking I forgot something.
Okay.
Dr. Kevin Casey. Dr. Kevin Casey.
Cow, get out of Dodge. Tell me this, are you shaking hands nowadays?
Well, a lifetime of therapy and a whole lot of Zoloft, just so I can appropriately greet you, big guy.
Oh, boy.
I do have a 3-second limit.
Boy, who doesn't?
See, he has obsessive compulsive disorder, and he likes to start each day the same way.
Bink, bink.
By touching everything in his first patient's room.
Bink, 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 bink. Bink, 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 bink. Bink, 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 bink.
Good morning, doctors.
He touches everything.
Bink.
Oh, okay. I suppose that's how they say good morning in Cuckoo Town.
Pretty much. Bink.
So far, they're putting a bit of a comical representation on OCD, which unfortunately is what a lot of people do. But at the same time, there are people who do have to touch things and even might make a sound while doing it as a reminder that they're doing it. So in terms of a representation of OCD, I would probably go like a 7 to an 8 on this one. But in terms of OCD being the butt of jokes and things, never have been a big fan of that myself, because there's already too many jokes about OCD out there. Now, the one thing that at least I do appreciate here is they talked about he's done therapy and he's been on medication. So they're mentioning both things as part of treatment. So that'll give a 10, a thumbs up to that one. And that he's actually attempting to do a handshake, which is also very wonderful. So I like that fact too. The other thing I wasn't thrilled about is we have a doctor saying, "Welcome to Cuckoo Town," which I don't think really represents what the field should be saying to people who have psychiatric and psychological conditions, that we call them kooks or other names. And so that I give a thumbs down 0 to on that side.
Funnier still how the same guy could be the mentor I've always been looking for.
Nice place. It's got that great vomit and peanut smell. Yeah, reminds me of my first girlfriend. She was a carny.
You know, I'm always trying to get Cox to come out and get a beer with me. He never does.
You're not one of those guys who carries around pictures of him and his attending, are you? Ah, perfect.
I don't carry anything around.
Good, because you know those losers who've been practicing medicine for 3 years, but still looking for some kind of mentor to pat them on the back. They're just pathetic, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yep. It's funny what one person can do.
Oh, okay. I need another beer.
Found him. Brace yourself, mister. You're about to get an earful, JD style.
Hey, buddy. Hey. Give me a minute, will you?
No, Kevin, I have to talk to you right now.
Damn it!
Later's cool, too.
I'm sorry, Look, I spent the last few days meeting new people and trying to get used to this place, and I'm stressed and I'm fried. And I just want to go home. But here's the punchline. Even though my last surgery was 2 hours ago, I can't stop washing my damn hands.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Look, this is a weak moment. Nobody's supposed to see this. And mark my words, I'll clean up the soap. Probably several thousand times. Everyone's got their own burdens, JD. And I'm not gonna be one of those people that dumps mine on somebody else. Now, what do you need?
That, I think, was a really interesting portrayal of OCD. First of all, let's go to the beer and having to put the coaster on top, obviously to protect it from any germs or things getting into it. And had the coasters on this side, on that side, shifting them over, use one only. Once it got screwed up, had to start all over again. This would be a pretty common type of thing that we would see in obsessive compulsive disorder, where somebody would want to make sure that it is done absolutely right. And if they don't do it right, they do have to start over. We see this a lot. So I give a 9 to that one. And I really, really felt in that scene there with the hand washing, you could see the frustration. And I've dealt with people who are washing their hands, who are burning their hands from the hot water, who are looking at me in tears and crying about the fact that they keep washing and that they feel like they can't stop, fear that something terrible or awful will happen to them or a loved one, or they'll have a germ on them, or they haven't done it just right, so they have to keep repeating it. And the frustration that Michael J. Fox's character expresses is very true and very real, where people talk about how frustrated they are that OCD keeps getting in the way of things and how much they don't want it to. And it's a good representation of the fact that OCD does not have your best interest in mind. It has its own interest in mind. So I'm going to give a 10 to those scenes right there, because I think that that shows the struggle. And I like the fact that the other doctor, Zach Braff's character, was really compassionate, actually, about the experience and wasn't making fun of him about it. And that, I think, was really good to see that support. Our next clip comes from a movie called As Good as It Gets. This was probably my first intro into OCD in a movie. This movie is an older one, but I'm older too. So therefore, it makes a lot of sense that this might have been one of the first times that I'd ever really seen OCD portrayed.
Two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Hot. Hot, hot, hot.
Excuse me.
Don't touch. Don't touch.
Get a life.
Watch. Don't touch me.
That initial opening scene, I think, is pretty realistic, where people will do those things with the door locks, with the lights. I've even seen people who have done that so much with their locks, they've actually broken their locks because they've just overused them so much. Or some people will put so much pressure on the lock to make sure that it's locked that they actually break the mechanism on it. I've seen people do that with plumbing too, to make sure the faucets are off, that they've actually even broken their plumbing. In terms of the soap, also have seen that happen, where people will only trust bar soap and it can't have been used by anyone else because there is this belief that the soap holds the germs of the previous person. And in this case, even the soap holds the germs of himself. So can use one layer of it, get that soap off, but now that soap's been contaminated, have to get rid of it, go to a new bar of soap and start the whole process all over again. Obviously, a great deal of time spent on this for people with OCD, and amount of money that is spent on this for people with OCD too. So I'll give that one a 9. And in terms of the walking, there are people who will definitely avoid cracks and make sure they do it. This is, I think, played up a bit on the Hollywood style of the kind of dancing around way of being done. Most people with OCD would be much more secretive, I think, in the way they are doing things. This makes it quite obvious about it. And a lot of people with OCD would rather not draw attention to themselves and the behaviors they're doing. So I'll give this part of it with the walking a 5. Because yes, it could happen, but probably not like this.
We're a sidewalk in New York. Look where they put it.
Hi.
Help!
If you want to see me, you will not do this. You will make an appointment.
Dr. Green, how can you diagnose someone as an obsessive compulsive disorder and then act as though I had some choice about barging in?
There's not going to be a debate. You must...
You said you could help me. What was that? A tease?
I can help you if you take responsibility to keep regular
You changed the room
appointment
around.
2 years ago. I also regrew my beard, but you're not interested in changes in me. So it's like
I don't have this mountain of available time. I have to get to my restaurant on time. Now, do you know how hard it was for me to come here?
Yes. No, we're not doing this now.
I changed just one pattern, as you always said I should.
No. Nope.
Good evening.
I need a coat and tie.
Well, come on in.
No.
No.
That one.
This one.
That one. And this tie.
Now, he's using his OCD as an excuse for just barging into his doctor's office. I don't know that that would be the excuse why somebody would necessarily do that. OCD doesn't make you just go barge into places. And yet there could be times where you feel like you haven't finished a compulsion and you do want to go back and barge into a place in order to finish it. I have seen that happen where people have left a place and then felt like they didn't complete something, so they want to go back in, but there's already another appointment going on. But in this case, if he hasn't been there for 2 years, just barging in like that, I don't think OCD would be the blame of it. So that one I'll give a 2. And in terms of the coat there at the end, it is possible that some people with OCD might feel like crossing a certain threshold would be too difficult, or they would have to do so many compulsions about it that it might be easier just to stand outside, have people bring things to them. So that's a possibility. Haven't seen that very much, but if they also have a bad feeling about the room or the place, they may not want to enter it and have things come out of it so that they don't go into it. So I'll give that one a 4. If we think about movies, Aviator and As Good as It Gets might have been some of the first films to really showcase obsessive compulsive disorder to people and give folks an idea about what it would be like. The thing that we have to keep in mind about a lot of these movies is they really do show a lot of the physical compulsions, but there hasn't been as much focus on the mental compulsions that people go through, unless they're doing some kind of voiceover experience. But I want everyone to recognize this, that A, keep in mind, nobody likes the OCD in these movies, right? You didn't see Howard Hughes enjoying his OCD in the movie. You don't see Jack Nicholson enjoying what he's doing there. He's talking about how hot the water is and it's burning his hands, right? And yet somehow in our society, we've gotten to this idea that OCD is maybe something it would be great to have a little bit of. Every time I tell people what I do, that I'm the chief clinical officer of NOCD, where we do online and teletherapy work for OCD, people say, oh, I have a little of that, or man, I wish I had a little of that. And both I try to take some time to educate folks on, because A, nobody actually wishes they had a little OCD, because there is no such thing as just a little OCD. You either have OCD or you don't have OCD. And if you have OCD, I haven't met anybody who said, yes, I'd love to share this with everyone else. I think it would be a joy and great. And number two, in terms of the aspect of it being kind of a jokey thing, right? That's where we fall into some danger in some of the portrayals of OCD, or somehow that it would be helpful, like in certain other TV shows you see in Monk, the idea that OCD would really be helpful in solving crimes or something of that nature. The reality of it is that OCD is definitely interfering in people's lives and getting in the way and not really helpful. Now, do we all have a little OCD? No. Do we all have quirky things we do? Absolutely. Everybody's got a quirky thing. You might check the garage door twice before you leave the house. That's fine. You don't have obsessive compulsive disorder because of that. It doesn't take more than about 20 seconds of your day. For people with OCD, we're looking at least an hour of their day as being consumed by these obsessions and these compulsions, both physically and mentally. And you can see the toll that might take on people's lives and the interference that it has upon their work, their school, their family life. So OCD really is a serious mental health condition.
And tell Jimmy I want 10 chocolate chip cookies. All right? Medium chips, none too close to the outside. Got it?
Cut steak, 12 peas, bottle of milk with the cap on.
Howard, if you're seriously talking about putting carnality back on the silver screen, you must swear to let me in on the casting session. Have somewhat of an eye for talent. Isn't that right, Johnny?
You gotta give up that prancing and tights to be a talent scout.
Popcorn for over 100 years.
Hello. Could you reach me a towel?
I really can't do that. I'm sorry.
So we see a couple of things happening here. The checking of the hands, not uncommon, where people will stare at their hands to see if there's something on them. That was a small hint, maybe, of OCD there. So nothing that was screaming obsessive compulsive disorder at that point in time. But, just something that we would want to keep an eye on. Now go to the scene where the steak comes and the peas are in a certain order and placement, and then somebody reaches over and grabs a pea. That was, I think, a pretty realistic scene, right? The fact that somebody would want their food to not touch, that it would be in a certain way. It would be weird probably to see this at a restaurant that someone with OCD would actually request. But I suppose when you're Howard Hughes and you have more money than anybody else does, you could do that and they will oblige. But I don't know that I'd see that happen at very many other restaurants that are out there. And in terms, though, of the bathroom scene, that's really interesting, especially when the person asks for the towel and he says he can't do it. There could be a couple of things there. Number one, I'd be potentially afraid that if I had germs still on my hands because I hadn't washed them enough and I hand someone a towel, then they're going to be spreading those germs onto themselves, and then they're going to go outside and they're going to then be touching things outside, and then I won't know what they've touched, everything, and then what if it recontaminates me, right? So that scene right there shows where people with OCD might be seen as being mean or callous in some way, when the reality is that OCD doesn't care if they come across as mean as callous, because OCD says, just do what I tell you to do, and that's the most important thing. It really doesn't matter about the thoughts and feelings of anybody else. So definitely for the steak not being eaten anymore because somebody's touched it and ruined the experience in the bathroom, I'd go a 9 on that.
Yeah. Bob, you got something on your suit. Yeah. On your lapel there, you got something on your lapel. Right there, Bob. You missed it right there. Clean it off, will you? Here. Thanks. Now throw it away. Now over there. Thanks. So, what do you call her?
In a situation like that, most of the time people will be far more concerned about spots or things on themselves. I've rarely seen it that they're as concerned about it on other people, but OCD, it will do what it does. And if it's drawn into something and now that becomes the focus of all attention, nothing else can be done until that thing is taken care of. And so not surprising to see the meeting will stop until this is taken care of. There are then no distractions, and then we can move along. I'm not sure in this case what the obsession is about a stain and why it would have to stop. So I'd be interested a little bit more in, is this an OCD thing versus somebody being very particular? But it's definitely there in the range of OCD, so I'll go with a 7 on that one. It's been interesting watching some of these clips, and one of the things that you might have noticed is there's a lot of hand washing, right? And yes, people with OCD can have concerns with germs or contamination. They could be concerned that they will be contaminated, that they will contaminate other people. But keep in mind, that's easy to film and that's easy to make a part of a movie. Yes, it's definitely a part of some people's lives, like it was with Howard Hughes. But it's actually not the most common type of OCD. What we didn't see a lot of today was a fear of harm. Did I run somebody over with my car? Was that a pothole or a person? We didn't see anything about some of the more taboo thoughts of OCD, like what if I were to harm a child? Or what if that thought makes something terrible happen to other people and now I have to undo it with some type of magical thinking? These are areas of OCD that are actually much more common and also have played a huge role in interference in the lives of people. So I applaud Hollywood in some instances for showing realistic aspects of what OCD can look like, but I encourage people in the business to also consider that there's a far more range of OCD that's out there, and to watch the more serious clips on here to show that this is what it's actually like to live with OCD, that it's not something fun, it's not something that anybody wants, it's not something that has your best interest at heart, and it isn't something that makes your life better in any way. So thank you for watching this with me today. I do appreciate it, and I hope all of you will keep in mind as you're seeing OCD portrayed, let's recognize the absolute seriousness of OCD. As we eventually get into changes of seasons, we'll see, unfortunately, things like sweaters that say OCD stands for obsessive Christmas disorder, right? Or we'll see commercials or tropes that might pick on something like that. And if we could all just keep in mind that OCD is a serious mental health condition, not something to be made fun of, not something to be taken lightly, but that there is great treatment available for it. And that's why I'm excited to work with people here at NOCD and help train therapists to work with those who have obsessive compulsive disorder. If you enjoyed today's podcast, well, wonderful. Subscribe to our NOCD YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future with some more episodes. We'll talk to you again.